In last week's video, I designed this sticker sheet in Adobe Fresco. This week, I'm going to bring it over to Adobe Illustrator, clean up the artwork a little bit, and get it prepped to be uploaded to the vendor who's going to print my stickers. This is also going to involve making kiss cut guides for the sticker place so that they know where I want these cut out. Not cut out, but like cut so that they can be peeled off the sticker sheet as individual stickers. I'm going to be ordering these from Sticker Mule, which I've had a lot of luck with lately with my stickers. And if you are interested in getting some stickers made with them, there is a link in the description for $10 off. Okay, so getting this over to Illustrator on your computer is super easy. All you're gonna do is click on that top publish and export button that you would use to just share your file. And then halfway down, you will see open a copy on Illustrator for the iPad or the desktop. I'm gonna choose desktop and then head over to the computer and our file will be there waiting for us. Okay, so I sent my file over to Illustrator on my computer from Adobe Fresco. And here I'm gonna do the final assembly for the sticker sheet and then make the kiss cut guides so that the printer knows where I want these to be cut out around each individual sticker. This is my file here, straight from Fresco. I haven't changed anything. The first thing I want to do is just sort of group this and organize it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just make selections of each sticker so that I have them grouped on their own and it's a little bit easier to control. Because I did this in layers in Fresco, it'll be a little bit easier. I'm just going to turn everything off and then just kind of go through and do it this way. So since I already have Stay Weird grouped like this, I'm just going to select it and then go Command G to group that. And if we want to get fancy or just be a responsible adult, I'm going to label the design. So Stay Weird. Okay, cool. I'll turn that off. And this is the line work for our taco friend. And then looks like we've got color on its own layer. So what I'm going to do is select all of this and I'm going to group that. And we can just name this layer taco. Actually, I think while I'm here, I'm going to change these little burst shape things to a color. Maybe we'll do this, the red color. So we got our taco layer, and that leaves us with this extra layer that we don't need anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. This is the good talk lettering. So I'm gonna group that and call that good talk, the cloud. So I guess I can fast forward through this process because it's not that interesting and you get it. So I'll see you in a few minutes. But like by few minutes, I mean several seconds because we're gonna fast forward. Listen, I get it. I'm already wasting your time. So okay, so I have my file pretty organized now. If I was gonna send this to a client, I would do a little bit more cleanup, but because these are just getting printed as sticker sheets and they don't even require vector artwork, I'm not gonna spend the time doing cleanup, but just for, some helpful information, let me show you what I mean by cleaning things up, and I'll just do it with my little logo file here. Let's turn everything else off and just focus on this. So if we look at my logo here, mouse over, you'll see some like weird areas where it's like not fully connected. We can do a thing called go into preview mode in Illustrator. So what that is if you do Command Y, it's going to show us just the shapes within our file. And you'll see some of these little overlapping things that are just a result of how I was sort of drawing on top of shapes to sort of fill in the space a little bit. So that's not ideal. It's not like a real problem, but I wouldn't want to send a file to a client like this just because it can get a little messy. They could accidentally move something and then like lose one of these little pieces and then it'll just look odd. So to take any of that out of the equation, what I would do is just combine that all into one shape. Since I already grouped this together, I'm going to go ahead and ungroup it. So we'll do File, Ungroup, and then I'm just going to select the background, any part of it. We can go to Object, Select. We can go to Select and then choose Same and then Fill Color. And this will give us all of that black selected at once. And then we can just go into our Pathfinder tool. If you don't have Pathfinder open, you can get it in your windows. You just go to Window Pathfinder. And then this first one here in Shape Modes, we'll just merge this all into one shape. So if we click on that, you'll see the black area becomes one shape. If we go into Preview mode, you'll see it's all just one solid shape. So that is good. This is a nice clean file, and it's ready to go to someone without the fear of them messing it up. So I'm going to group this again by selecting all of it and then just going Command G. Then we can turn everything else back on. I have all of these grouped as individual stickers so that I can move them around easily based on the print requirements. I went ahead and downloaded a template file from Sticker Mule, who I'm planning to order my sticker sheets from. So if you're ordering stickers and they do have a template, it's always a helpful thing to do. That way you can work to their file spec and not have to worry about any issues. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all of these and copy them, new document, but at least we have that backup file in case we need to change things. So this is the template that they have, which is a little confusing because it's a big page and then the print area is just this area up top. And then we've got some layers that they give us. We've got instruction layer, cut line, and artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and paste my stickers on the artwork layer. Because I want this to be a vertical sheet and they are defaulting to it being horizontal, I'm just going to turn my artwork sideways because it doesn't matter which way you do it. So even though these are all on one layer, they're still grouped, so I can drag them around individually and solve that problem. This is telling me that we need at least a 1/4 inch of space between our stickers. So click on the rectangle tool and then double click, and then we could just do 0.25 by 0.25, and that'll give us a little 1/4 inch square, and we can use this as like a visual to make sure that we have enough space between all of our things. So because this is going to be a helpful tool and not part of our design, I'm going to make it in a color that we are not using in our file. I'm going to make it this neon green color so it's easy to see what's happening. So clearly this artwork is a little too tight in some spots, and I think that is okay. We can move some things around. So one thing we can do right off the bat is just move this skull down a little bit, and that solves mostly that problem. This can get moved over a little bit and down. We can move my logo a little bit closer to the edge. I think that actually doesn't matter because I'm not going to cut my logo. I'm going to just have it as part of it's just branding. It's not a sticker. I don't know why someone would want my name as a sticker. So I'm going to move this little cloud thing over. Basically, I'm just maneuvering things, trying to make a little bit more space and make sure that everything has the required 1/4 inch space. Okay, so now we need to make our cut lines for these stickers because these will be individual stickers as part of a sticker sheet. So what I want to do is just go ahead and duplicate my artwork layer. Okay, so let's temporarily turn off that top layer and select our skull, and then let's just use Pathfinder to merge this all into one shape and just make it bright red. Now we can turn our artwork layer back on, and we can't see it obviously, but when we use the Pathfinder, we'll have a visual reference for how big this is going to be. The good news is we probably only have to do this once because we can just use the same number for all the other stickers because they're all roughly the same size. So let's go to offset path, and then here let's just bump this up a little bit. Maybe we'll do 0.5, tiny bit more. Let's see, 0.6, 0.75 is what I think it's going to be. All right, so I think that's an amount that will probably be comfortable for them. It looks like it'll give us enough room on all the sides. We may have to adjust a little bit up here. We'll see as we get there. We can go ahead and turn off our artwork layer. And now what we need to do is just simplify this shape a little bit. So if we go ahead and select all of this, let's use Pathfinder to merge it into one shape. And then we just need to get rid of these little center pieces. So what you can do is just grab the direct select tool, which is the white arrow, and then just come in and delete those extra spots. Another tip is to do Command Y to go into preview mode, and then you can just click and drag to select multiple areas at once. And now what we can do here is cut lines. So indicate kiss cut lines using a 0.1 stroke. So this is our shape now. Let's go ahead and just make this universally magenta color. We will come over to our color and then click this switcher thing to send it to just be the stroke. And now what we can do is go on our stroke menu and just make sure it's at 1 point. So that is what we need for our kiss cut. We can go ahead and drag that to our cut line layer. So now if we turn our artwork back on, we've got our nice cut layer around that artwork. So that is good to go. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for our cloud. So I'm going to temporarily turn off that artwork. And what I will do is merge this together, pick a bright color so we can see what we're doing. And what we'll do is use the same offset path setting that we used before. It'll probably default to that. Yep, did. So that is good. Then we can go ahead and just merge that all together, the Pathfinder tool. And now this time we'll do Command Y and get rid of all these areas at once, or as much as we can at once. So what I'm doing is with the direct select tool, I'm clicking and dragging to select as much of these things as I can, and then I can just delete those like that, and like that. Now, one thing I'm noticing here is that this is a little tight, and I don't want my sticker to have this like weird little sliver cut out of it. So we can just sort of patch this together with another shape. So the simplest way to do it would just be to like draw in, you know, a connector point like this, just another shape. And, you know, you can get as neat as you want. Like if you want it to be sort of more perfect than this, and you don't want like a weird angle like that, you know, you can draw whatever shape you want. But if we select both of these, we can get out of preview mode and then just use our Pathfinder, and we can go ahead and look at that, and you could say, well, I would like that to be a little bit nicer. That's fine. We could just come in and just maybe adjust this accordingly. I would recommend turning your artwork back on so that you can see what's happening there. But we could do something like that, and that is a little bit neater than having a little sliver there. This one is good. What we can do is while that's selected, we can just go ahead and use our eyedropper and select our other cut layer, and we can come up here and look and see that this cut line is right on the edge of our document, which is not great. But what we can do is unlock our artwork layer, select both of those, and just scooch it a tiny bit like that, and that should be good to go. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the rest of these. I will fast forward so that you don't have to go through the exact same process 100 times. Because I didn't put these all on the cut line layer yet, I'm going to use the direct select tool, and I'm just going to click on the cut line, and I'm going to go to select same stroke color, and now it'll be able to select them. And what I'm going to do is just drag the blue in my layer, that little blue thing that pops up next to the layer, and I'm going to drag that to my cut layer. So now all of my cut lines are on their own layer. So as you can see, those are the cut lines. That is good. And now I can turn back on this additional artwork layer, and we don't need any of this stuff anymore because we were just using that to make our cut lines, so I can delete that layer. So now we have our artwork, we have our cut lines. The issue here is that some of these are going over the edge, so we need to adjust that a little bit. So it may be slightly problematic here because we don't have a ton of room to work with. So what I think might need to happen is I'm going to select both of these. I think I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller so that it fits. And maybe we can just we can come in and move it as close as we want. That seems to have solved the problems. I don't see anything else going beyond the borders. At this point, what I might want to do is see if there's any other areas that need to be cleaned up or simplified a little bit. And I think that this right here doesn't need to come down this far. So what I'm going to do is just, again, make like a little patch. So I'm just going to sort of mimic the line that's there. And now I'm just drawing a shape like that. And I'll select both of them and use Pathfinder. And then just now it's one shape and we don't have such a skinny little cut there. So that is good. I think we'll do the same thing here. So I'm just gonna put in a little cut like that. I find that areas that get skinny like that are areas where you can have problems with like sticking and then it start to come up a little bit. More solid surface area is generally a good thing for stickers. So merge that, make sure we've selected them both and merge that together. That is good. The only thing I would say is the taco one is a little bit of a messy line and I don't want to do that. We can do a couple different things. We can try to simplify it using Illustrator's built-in stuff and see how that goes, but I think I may need to do some manual work to get this the way I want to. And again, this is just me being nitpicky and not wanting my sticker edge to be so lumpy. So let's go ahead and try going to Object Path and then Simplify. And this will give us this little pull chart that we can sort of play around with to see if we can smooth things out a little bit. So what we can do is get this close and then go in and modify it some more. So I think that's okay. I just don't love like this rough area. So to fix that, grab the direct select tool and click on our path. And we can just go in and get rid of some of these extra points. So if you go into the pen tool and use the delete anchor point, we can just come in and click on some of these extra ones that we don't need. I think we can get rid of that and then just adjust this a little bit. So I'm going to switch back to the direct select tool and I'm just going to pull on this little, I'm going to click on this point and then pull on this little antenna to just round this out, make that just a little smoother there. And for this one, what I'm going to do is pull this antenna so it doesn't stick up again right there. And then we can adjust this one like that. Just so we're kind of smoothing this out a little bit. I don't need it to be perfect. I just didn't want it to be super lumpy. And then we can do the same thing right here. I think we can just make this curve a little less aggressive like that. And then this is all fine. And I think that these could probably just get toned down a little bit. And what I mean by toned down is just sort of adjust these handles so they're not being so harsh in the way they change direction. And you can do that by just pulling on the antennas and readjusting them. Okay, so I'm fine with that. And the one other thing that I noticed on this one was this right here is just like a weird extra point that we don't need. It already looks like there's quite a bit too many points on this path. So what I'm going to do is just go to Object, Path, Simplify again. And it's going to automatically remove some stuff, but we can pull this slider and it's going to keep removing them until it kind of gets to a point that we think is okay. And now we can probably just delete this extra one. So I'll grab the minus tool again and go like that. And you can manually come in here and delete some of these extra things to just make it a little bit of a smoother transition. And again, you can keep deleting them and then just know you may have to adjust curves accordingly. So this is now ready to go. We have our artwork on the artwork layer and we have our cut lines on the cut line layer. And we can go ahead and save this file and upload it to order our stickers. And now we have Kiss Cut stickers. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I know Illustrator can be a little overwhelming if you don't have a lot of experience with it. It's really not too bad. If you just mess around with it, you'll start to figure things out. The curves and adjusting the points and stuff like that can feel kind of crazy at first. It just takes a little bit of practice. And again, most of this stuff probably wouldn't matter because the stickers are going to be pretty small and that sort of level of detail is not really going to be noticed. If you're still here and you found this helpful, give me the like, give me the subscribe, be my best friend. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't forget that there's a link below to get $10 off your order if you order stickers from Sticker Mule. I have had great luck with them. I've ordered lots of stickers with them. You can get some of my stickers in my online shop. That was a double plug. Did you see that? I'll see you soon. Okay, good talk. Bye-bye. This is new.